Today, Dana White dropped a bombshell in the mixed martial arts world last night as he finally signed the fight we have all been waiting to see. Yana Santos versus Misha Tate. No, I'm just playing. Dana White dropped the bombshell last night of multiple fights, multiple events, changes in the division. This will go down similar to the Luka trade for AD for mixed martial arts. Not really, but it's crazy anyway. All of this and more on today's episode of Matter of Fact MMA. What's up? What's happening? Let's go. What's up, guys? We right back at it. We right back with it. Your boy Matt is here to drop off the news, dropping dimes, you know what I'm saying? Dana White, late last night, took to his Instagram, you know what I'm saying, like Batman to the bat signal in the sky, and delivered a lot of news, a whole lot of news. So let's start out with one of the first things, probably the biggest thing. Ilia Topuria is now the former featherweight champion of the world, as he has vacated the featherweight championship and he is moving up to 155 pounds. I'll let that sit in for a second. Ilia Topuria, after having a legendary year, a year that probably already made him a Hall of Famer, of not just beating, but stopping, knocking out Alexander Volkanovski as well as Max Holloway, has now vacated his featherweight championship and he's moving up to 155 pounds. Now, his next fight has not been announced. There's a lot of rumors that the UFC might be trying to ink a deal between him and Islam Makhachev for the 155-pound championship. There's a lot of rumors that he could be fighting Arman Tsarukyan. Nevertheless, there's even rumors that he might be fighting Dustin Poirier. I don't see that happening, but it's also a rumor. Nevertheless, this is huge because at featherweight, Dana White also announced my guy, Diego Lopez, is getting a shot at the featherweight championship. He will be facing former champion Alexander Volkanovski to crown the new featherweight champion of the world. First off, that's an amazing fight. Second off, Diego Lopez gets his shot. And shout out to Diego Lopez, because all of the mixed martial arts fighters that, you know, if one of them, you know, it's questionable if we'll ever get one to watch this show, but if one ever watches this show, take note of Diego Lopez. If Luke Thomas ever watches this show, this is how you make a lot of money in the space of the mixed martial arts in the UFC. We ain't sitting around worried about no class action lawsuit. We ain't worried about Dana opening up the purse straps, trying to give us more bread. At the end of the day, if you make yourself available for the UFC will treat you right. Uncle Aya just now got a shot. He just now got a shot at it. You know what I'm saying? Bro, if you make yourself available, they will do something for you. And now, Diego Lopez has leaped multiple fighters that came in the same time as him. He's making way more money, and he's already fighting for the championship. And think of how many fighters had these huge, long win streaks. Look how long it took Bilal Muhammad, and he's crying about it, and da-da-da. He just wants his shot. Bro, you're boring, and you're not taking the fights the UFC is trying to get you to take. Diego Lopez could care less. He could care less. They sign him up, he goes out there, he fights, he wins, and he moves on. And that's how you become one of their guys. That's how you get in the good graces. Now we have Alexander Volkanovski, former champion, just lost the belt to Ilia, stepping in the octagon with Diego Lopez to crown the new featherweight champion. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But that's not the only thing. As I made a joke about, I just saw it on my notes. As I made a joke about, Yana Santos is stepping in the octagon with Misha Tate. That's a fight that, whatever. Shout out to Misha Tate. She's a legend, but that is what it is. I just saw that. I wanted to make that joke. Bro, let's talk about these other fights, though. Let's talk about these other fights that Dana White announced. How about this? How about the UFC's golden boy, Michael Chandler, Iron Michael Chandler, will step in the octagon with Patty the Batty Pimblett. This is going to be a quality fight. This is good matchmaking by the UFC as well, because nobody likes Michael Chandler. You know what I'm saying? He's just not a likable guy, right? And with that being said, Patty Pimblett is who they want to be liked. And he's had a few stumbles along the way of being liked. But after his last win, Patty Pimblett looks like he's a likable guy again. So you throw him in there with the unlikable guy like Michael Chandler, there's a good chance Patty the Batty will go out there and beat Michael Chandler. And if he does, he beat the guy everyone dislikes, and it's awesome. But if Michael Chandler defeats Patty Pimblett, which is also possible, Michael Chandler finally got a win. And the UFC, who loves Michael Chandler, can boost him up a little bit more. They're having a hard time boosting him up when he keeps losing, but then he'd get a win, they can boost him up more. Outstanding matchmaking. Let's keep going. I heard you wanted another championship fight. I heard you wanted another earth-shattering championship fight. How about this? Bilal Muhammad will step in the octagon at UFC 314, I believe. 315. May 10th, UFC 315, Bilal Muhammad will step in the octagon and attempt to defend his welterweight championship against this is interesting. Jack Della Maddalena. Bro. First off, I know you're saying, what happened to Shafkat? Shafkat was offered the fight, which he said on his Twitter, but he had to turn it down because he's currently injured. Now Bilal Muhammad will have to defend his welterweight championship against Jack Della. We all know if that fight stays standing, that's going to be Jack Della doing work. But the age-old mixed martial arts scenario, if this goes to the ground, if this gets into the grappling realm, Bilal Muhammad will have his way with Jack Della. But Jack Della might have enough defense to get it back to the feet, in which Jack Della's going to throw them hands. I feel like this is going to be a really interesting fight. Could be really boring if Bilal Muhammad really just dominates him on the ground and we just get a boring 5-round fight and Bilal Muhammad is crowned the winner at the end. But either way, it's just good to see new blood at the top fighting for the championship. I really wanted to see Shafkat, but Shafkat has said that the UFC will give him a shot as soon as he's healed up. So I'm all down for that. How about this, though? If you want another title fight, there's another one on May 10th, UFC 315. How about the Chevy truck? Valentina Shevchenko stepping back in the octagon to defend her flyweight championship against Manon Fiorot. It's France versus the globe, because Valentina globetrots, literally globetrots. She's like a female James Bond, just travels all over the world, having her way, doing her thing, you know what I'm saying, with her sister as well. Now, this is going to be a very interesting fight, because I feel like the winner of this is going to fight Zhang Weili. Zhang Weili has made it clear that she wants to move up to 125 pounds. There's not a lot left for her to do at 115. She would rather move up to fight Valentina to have this a major super fight. But If Faroah wins that fight, she's going to move up and fight Faroah. So I'm all down for it. This is great. But there's more fights. Here's a little lightweight banger. Here's a little lightweight banger for you, a little one-hitter for you. How about Carlos Prates stepping in the octagon with Jeff Neal? That's going to bang. Jeff Neal will throw hands. Carlos, the Nightmare, he'll throw hands. I'm all down for it. That's going to be a banger at welterweight. But I guess you wanted a little bit more. Dana White had it all. How about this? You're saying, what about Jack Della was supposed to be fighting Leon Edwards? That has now been switched. Now Leon Edwards will step in the octagon there in London in the O2 against Sean Brady. That's going to be a banger of a fight. That's going to be a banger. Sean Brady looked so solid in his last fight. Leon Edwards has to bounce back after his loss to Bilal. We'll see how that works out, but I think that's going to be a little bit of a banger. How about this? You want to talk about newcomers to the UFC. Newcomers that are also old vets. How about this? Those of us that have been fans of Brazilian mixed martial arts fighters for years. We are one step closer to a dream fight that we really want to see, but more importantly, he's here. Patricio Pitbull has now signed with the UFC, and he will make his octagon debut against Yair Rodriguez. That's what I'm talking about. But how about this? The dream fight that Brazilian mixed martial arts fans have been waiting for years. We are one step closer to Patricio Pitbull stepping in the octagon with Jose Aldo. Sign it up, make it the co-main event of a Brazil card. Nevertheless, Patricio Pitbull is now in the octagon, and he's stepping in the cage with Yair Rodriguez, which should be a very, very good fight. I mean, Dana White was dropping bombs. I don't think y'all understand. There were a few other fights that low-key got announced, but these were all of the major ones. These are all the ones. I mean, we're talking about, who is Ilia going to fight at 155? Are they going to give him the shot against Makhachev? Are they going to lock him in the octagon with Sarukian, which would be a tremendous fight? You know what I'm saying? Are they going to have him start out against Gamrot? I can only see him fight in one fight. If he wins, I can only see him fight in one fight, and then he's fighting for the championship. I think they're probably going to put him in there with Sarukian. I think they kind of want to punish Sarukian after that weight miss or whatever was going on when he was injured. He pulled out of the Makhachev fight. I think it's going to be Ilia Topuria versus Sarukian, because I think Makhachev wants Ilia to prove a point or to prove himself at 155 before giving him a shot at the belt. And in this scenario, because Makhachev is the champ, he got a little bit of cachet. He got a little bit of pull. So we will see how that plays out. What if they throw a curveball and sign Dustin Poirier versus Ilia Topuria? I don't see it happening, but what if they do? How do you think Ilia is even going to look at 155? That's going to be interesting as well. I kind of feel like they're leaning toward Poirier versus Max Holloway at 155, but we'll see if that all plays out. Dustin saying he wants to retire at the card that's going to go down in New Orleans later this year. I could see them doing that. Nevertheless, though, what about 145? Mavsar is still there, so I would think that the winner between Volk and Lopez is going to step in the octagon with Mavsar, but we will see. That shakes up 145, though, Ilia leaving. And then one other thing I'll say about Ilia. This man is poised to be the new Conor McGregor. He's not there yet, but, Conor walked away from featherweight with the belt and became the first champ. Shout out to Ilia for not even holding up the division. He's just like, y'all can have this 145 belt. It ain't going to get no better than what I already did. I knocked out 2 legends. I'm moving on. But, bro, this man, the confidence on him is on 5 million. Other than against Makachev, it'd be hard pressed to pick Ilia Topuria. I'm sorry, pick against Ilia Topuria. Period. Even at 155, even though he's got to put on the size. Nevertheless, these are earth-shattering everything that went on. I'm not trying to disparage him. I kind of favor Bilal Muhammad against Jack Della, but I think if this stays standing for any little small piece of time, Jack Della laid them hands, and that's the end of Bilal. Bro, these are tremendous fights. These are tremendous matchups. These are tremendous divisions. Outstanding. Can't wait to see it. UFC 315 looking solid. And on further down the road, it's looking great. So nevertheless, just had to drop in, let y'all know about the news, about the little news that's going on. And once again, let me know what you think. Hop in the comments. Let me know what you think about these change-ups, about Ilia dropping the belt. Let me know what you think. And once again, I do want to thank you guys for joining me for another episode of Matter of Fact MMA. And I'll check you next time. Peace.